taxes, less government, and sanctity of life.
And how often do you come out and do this?
Probably once, twice a week.
Really?
Yeah.
For how long have you been doing this?
Oh, well, since the primary.
Yeah. We started back up this week heavier because we're getting closer. We're down to a week now, so it's time to get out and get as much energy going as we can.
We appreciate your support. Thank you.
I'm Dave Peterson. I'm a volunteer for Lisa. Well, Miller scares me. I don't like the way he comes across. He does not seem to be too truthful with some of the things he's putting in his ads, and I just do not want to see him elected.
Some of the volunteers we met from the amazing Senate campaign here in Anchorage. One of the things that is awesome about Alaska is that when the rest of the country talks about and rhapsodizes about and makes stuff up about the Founding Fathers, here the Founding Fathers are still around. The state is only 50 years old. So if you have a question in Alaska about original intent or something like that, you can just call one of the surviving delegates from the Alaska Constitutional Convention, like, for example, Vic Fisher, who joins us now. Radio host and blogger, and our other friend in Anchorage besides Tank Jones, Shannon Marsh. Shannon and Vic, thank you both so much for coming up here. It's good to see you, Vic. Good to see you, Shannon. Thanks, you guys. You have quite a fan club here. Shannon, let me ask you first. In the last week of this campaign, do you think that the dynamics are still in motion, that this could still end up being a surprise?
I do. I think that, having more records released today on Joe Miller. I mean, people, 52%, Lisa Murkowski's right, 52% of people here consider themselves roguey or mavericky when it comes to voting. Yeah. They could vote either way, and a lot of people don't vote a straight ticket. So we saw that last time with Don Young being elected and Mark Begich. Yeah. So people aren't afraid to cross over, so it's really hard to sort of corral them. It's like herding cats. So I think people are waiting for more information still, because it is coming out. Like every day there's a new scandal. So I think people are waiting. There's a lot of votes still in play.
Vic, Joe Miller is running as a constitutional conservative. You helped write Alaska's Constitution. This week you wrote that Joe Miller is a phony constitutionalist with ideas imported from the lunatic fringe. I won't ask you about the lunatic fringe part of it. I think we'd end up in a long conversation. But why do you say that he's a phony?
Well, because he claims to be a Yale Law School graduate, and I would think that a Yale Law School graduate would understand that a constitution is a framework, a foundation for the future. It's not something that is designed to be static and forgotten forever. It's just like the Alaska Constitution. We wrote it 55 years ago. It's a foundation document, but Alaska has changed tremendously in these 55 years, and the Constitution is a live document, and the people today adapted to our needs of today and tomorrow's future.
In terms of the difference between Alaska and the rest of the country really looking to Alaska because it may decide the Senate, the balance of the Senate. Is there something about the Alaska Constitution or about political values up here that really are unique, that are different than the rest of the country?
Well, I think that we're more individualistic. I think that we generally vote our values, and that's where Miller comes in. There's a bunch of people who are way off to the right, and they support Miller. And then there's this big middle, and there are many Democrats, and the question is, how do we corral people to vote our values? In this case, I'm speaking of democratic values, and too many Democrats are thinking, oh, God, we have to defeat Miller, and therefore we should vote for Murkowski. Right. And what we're trying to do is to get them back to understand that McAdams can win. We can win.
In terms of the fight that brought us into this weird three-way race, I don't think I knew before I got here that at least I didn't think before I got here, that what's going on in Miller v. Murkowski is sort of just the latest manifestation of the conservative movement trying to corral the Alaska Republican Party like they always have. Do you see this as discontinuous from that history? Is this unique, or is it just part of that long history?
I think this is a family feud.
Really?
I really do. There has been a Murkowski dynasty in this state for quite some time. I mean, we saw Frank Murkowski as senator for decades. He became governor. He appointed his daughter, and so there was this shift just within their family. So you look at that, and then, of course, Frank Murkowski was beaten horribly by Sarah Palin. I mean, I think he got 17 or 18% of the vote, and frankly, I voted for him because I thought he was easier to beat for the Democrat. So his percentage, as high as it was helped out by Democrats. So Frank Murkowski walked in that night with his daughter to people that were just like, get the hell out. And he did move. He moved to Utah, and she may have to move too.
Wow. I'll only bring it up because you guys brought it up. Is Sarah Palin important in this race? Obviously, Joe Miller is her candidate of choice.
I think it hurts him more than it helps him. I mean, she does have really low numbers, and people that did support her and walked door to door in the snow. I mean, you think it's cold now? You wait a month. People walked door to door for her to get her elected, and she quit. And there's a lot of things you can do in Alaska, but you can't quit. You can't run dogs and quit. You can't row a boat and quit. You won't survive here if you're a quitter. It's an Alaskan value. So she, even people that are still conservative, still they see her as a quitter.
Vic Fisher, one of Alaska's founding fathers who helped write the Constitution here. It's such an honor to meet you. Thank you for your service.
It's a real pleasure.
Thank you. Shannon Moore, as always, it's great to see you, my friend. More of the wild and wonderful lengths that we had to go to try to meet Joe Miller here in Alaska when we come back. Anybody want to tell me why you guys support Joe Miller? What it is you like about him?
Pro-life! Sure.